girls, and it'll be great.
Roll, please.
Name the only television series to appear on the cover of TV Guide before the editors of the publication could even see the show. Well, the answer's easy, of course. Star Trek Voyager. Hello, I'm Robert Duncan McNeil, and this is E's journey inside Star Trek Voyager. Now, on the series, I play Lieutenant Tom Paris, and during the next 60 minutes, my fellow castmates and I are going to take you on board and behind the scenes of Voyager to show you how we put the action into our high-flying adventure.
Action!
For 2 wide-open weeks, we let camera crews follow us inside, outside, and all around our state-of-the-art set to capture this exclusive look at what makes Voyager fly.
If you're not wearing a spacesuit, get out of the corridor.
You'll see Tim Russ grow his Vulcan ears, Ethan Phillips lose his alien teeth, Roxanne Biggs Dawson will model the latest in Starfleet fashion, while Mr. Blackwell sizes up Star Trek style as only he can.
I see no hope for the future.
Plus, we'll give you a guided tour through the most spectacular chambers of the Voyager, including the bridge, courtesy of the captain herself, Kate Mulgrew.
I'm always here saying, you want to screw around with me, you're in trouble.
But before we get to that, a quick note. This show, of course, will be Klingon-friendly, so the graphics you see throughout will appear in both Klingon and English. And here's an example. This says, well, I won't even attempt to read what that says, but in English it translates to, "Where's the bathroom?" which, of course, can come in real handy when you're lost 70,000 light years from home like we are on Voyager. But let's get things underway by answering a question almost 30 years in the making. After 3 previous Star Trek television shows, not to mention 7 motion pictures, why have audiences so eagerly beamed aboard Voyager? Well, I happen to know a few people who might have an idea.
The possibilities, the wonder, a completely different and new world.
The looking forward and progressing, seeing what we might be like in the future is intoxicating to people, I think.
It's imagination combined with a deep and fine intelligence. We're getting ready to leave. Let me show you to the bridge.
Originally, when it first came out, that was one of the first really... well, people got really gung-ho into science fiction.
They like the optimism and, you know, the optimistic view of the future.
Actually, I don't have an answer for why it's so enduring. I was trying to make something up, but it didn't work. So, anyway. Next question.
Well, it's the effort that counts, Garrett. While the reason for Star Trek's enduring appeal may be open to interpretation, the success of the franchise is indisputable. The original series is still airing throughout the world nearly 30 years after its debut. The Next Generation earned 18 Emmy Awards in its 7-year run, and Deep Space Nine logged the highest debut in syndication history. Together, these programs set a lofty standard for our show to attain.
Let's try that again, please.
But Voyager has proven worthy of its mission, capturing millions of viewers from the moment it launched. But while matching the success of the previous shows was important, so too was separating Voyager from its predecessors.
We came up with 3 major premises that were different. One was that was a female captain. One was the whole idea of these Maquis, these rebels. And the third is to take the ship and to take its crew and to fling them to the other side of our galaxy.
Somewhere along this journey, we'll find a way back.
We're still dealing with the same optimistic future, but we've thrown our people off into a place where they're alone. So without the support systems, without the ability to call for help, without the advice of Starfleet, they are back to basics.
Back to basics, but with a groundbreaking captain, played by Kate Mulgrew. She replaced Geneviève Bujold just weeks before shooting began. But Kate had little trouble stepping into Janeway's jumper.
It was total ownership, or it was nothing. And it emanated really perfectly naturally from me. And then I sort of looked around and everybody was going, I think we might actually have something to do here next week. It suited me. It feels good.
All senior officers report to the bridge immediately.
With Kate leading the way, we all managed to slip easily into our characters.
Often actors grope for their characters. It takes them, if not a few episodes, sometimes a season, to really sort of try things and test it out and see who they are. These people, for whatever reason, knew instantly who they were and what they were about.
As for how we got up to speed so quickly, we all give credit to one essential element.
The care that the producers put into the writing.
The stories are so well written.
Well, there's no question that the writing is superior.
It creates thoughts in my mind, and I know if it's creating thoughts in my mind, or at least I hope, that it's going to please the audience and the viewers.
The folding of space should create a subspace residue. If we can detect one, we might be a step closer to knowing how the trajectory works.
Any Star Trek episode, I would say, is the hardest kind of writing I have ever done. The demands are extraordinary. It is a well-crafted, thoughtful, intelligent human drama.
And every episode features the most torturous, tongue-twisting technical terminology heard in television.
If we could modify the deflector array to emit phase neutrinos, we could create a big enough bubble.
It's called technobabble, okay, and it comes in threes, all right? So you coherent tetryon beam, polarized magnetic variation. And if they really want to mess you up, they give you 5. The writers will give you 5 in a row. So single class 3 humanoid organism, and that's 5 in a row.
I had a line once, and we were running out of camera, and we were at the end of the day, and everybody wanted to go home, and I couldn't say spatial distortions. I kept saying facial distortions.
What did I have to say yesterday? I had to say Sikaris has a mantle of tetrahedral quartz 20 kilometers thick.
And then another time, I was supposed to say subspace beacon, and I kept saying subspace bacon.
The crystalline structure of the mantle serves to focus and amplify the trajectory field.
Is that the rumor that I'm the one that has the most problem? Probably so, yeah.
Every script has a pronunciation guide because whether it's an alien being or race, that has to be phonetically, marked out so that everybody says the same thing.
Accuracy, without a doubt, is a top priority on Voyager because if we make a mistake, any mistake, our fans, the Trekkers, will let us know about it.
And they do call us on confusion. They have all the elements in particular in terms of consistency about what we do, how we do it.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to dictate to us, because we don't believe that that's the process that we work under here. But they influence us, and we listen to them.
I just try to do my work the best I can and hope that by doing that it will please them.
But when you have fans that are that appreciative, it really is an honor to play to them.
Mr. Paris, set a course for home.
On second thought, set a course to stay with us for the next hour, because when we return, our tour of the ship begins in the power-packed home of the Voyager's warp drive. Plus, we'll venture behind the scenes of the special effects department to see what really makes the Voyager fly. Welcome back to E's 60-minute look inside Star Trek Voyager. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil. Throughout the history of Star Trek, we've gotten to know dozens of intriguing life forms, from Vulcans and Romulans to Ocampas and Cardassians. But our series features a life form unlike any other seen before, and its name is Voyager.
It's got these bio-neural fibers that have replaced the standard conduits that run throughout the ship. So there's a biological component to this ship.
Biological components. Welcome to the Voyager, a living entity, a vast, complex monument to Hollywood's limitless engineering and special effects prowess.
I want the ship to look like a ship. At the same time, we want it to look like Star Trek. If someone is flipping the channels, well then, and they go past this, they should be able to recognize it as a Star Trek episode.
There's no mistaking the Voyager as a Federation starship, but this model comes with some interesting options.
Well, Voyager will be a smaller ship than the Enterprise was, but it will be say, a newer model. Much more action-oriented ship. It's a definite military ship as opposed to an exploration vessel. There won't be families on board, and it will have a sleeker, more aggressive look than the Enterprise.
The interior sets at Paramount Studios are incredibly detailed.
I love the mess hall set with the big, with the endless stars outside the windows. It's really cool. I think the bridge, I think we have the best bridge of any, forgive me, but of any starship we've had so far. We have a terrific bridge.
The room that impresses me the most is the ready room. That's where the captain kind of retires in between bridge assignments. And I like that room because it's got these really cool seats, and it's really curvy, and there's a great view of space, and she has a really neat desk, and I like to be in that room.
Speaking of impressive sets, take a look under Voyager's hood.
Here we are. This is engineering. This is the hunting grounds of Torres, the bowels of the ship, and we're going to head on over to one of the most important parts of the USS Voyager. This is the warp core. The state that it's in right now, this is at impulse power. And right now, let's go to warp. There we go. Warp power right there. Warp power is when you are bending space. You have warp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The highest is 9.9. You can't be warp 10. Because if you're warp 10, that means you are at every point of the universe simultaneously. We have ATM machines over here, actually, in case you need to get some cash. There are little stickers you can see up here with, they're just saying, this says access panel, but underneath there's always some type of funny message. Like this one, it says, remember, no matter where you go, there you are. This last one is, just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
You could probably fit the entire minnow on the Voyager's bridge, the most detailed set on the starship.
You really put a lot of time in development of the bridge, and it was very exciting watching it come together. The pieces, I mean, just when they'd come in with a new railing and everything, and you get to see it. The workmanship, I think the crews have done excellent job. The craftsmanship is, I think, top rate.
Voyager's special effects people know all about craftsmanship.
The technology is just astounding. What's gone on from what we did on the original show, actually what we did on the pilot with hoses and moving things and a lot of puppeteering work, to what we're doing right now, which is we're really into some electronics.
That's putting it mildly. These days, the buzzwords are computer-generated imaging, but that's just a bit of what it takes to create, say, an explosion in space.
You have to have the crew photographing the model, lighting the model, designing the shot, and we have to transfer that to digital video, composite the shot, then we have to set up an explosion, photograph that with a high-speed camera, optically superimpose that with the ship.
Somewhat simpler, but equally as effective, are the matte paintings rendered for the show.
What we're hired to do here at Illusion Arts is to create shots that don't normally exist in life. For instance, a science fiction city or some sort of elaborate background that would be too expensive to build or to create in any other way. Building a set, for instance, would be way too expensive. So they come to us, and we can create these environments cheaply and relatively quickly, and the end result is this fantastic vista for relatively little money.
All in all, some pretty heady stuff, but on the Voyager, state-of-the-art is the only way to fly. Our tour of the Voyager has just begun, so stick around. We still have the transporter room coming up, and of course, the bridge. But first, all you trekkers out there, step forward. When we come back, we'll turn our tricorders on you. Welcome back. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil, and this is E's 1 hour behind-the-scenes look at Star Trek Voyager. Here's another little trivia tidbit for you. Did you know that every weekend, in at least 4 different U.S. cities, a Star Trek convention is held? Lucky for us, when it comes to Trekkers, there's no such thing as too much Star Trek. We all know about the legendary allegiance of Trekkers, but they still took us by surprise when they sent fan mail before the first episode even aired.
It's funny because some of them are like
some of the letters are like, yeah, I followed your career for the last 10 years. I'm like, oh, let's see, I was, what, 7 then or something, you know? I wasn't even acting then, you know, but for the most part, they're very nice, they're very cordial.
It really was welcome to our world mail. And a lot of it was, I mean, it's very articulate, really wonderful welcoming wagon. That's what they were. It was a welcome wagon. It was great.
I have personal friends who are great Star Trek fans, but I haven't met the hardcore Trekkers yet. So I can't really tell you at this point how I feel. I have a mixture of anticipation and dread.
Well, ready or not, Robert will get his chance to meet the hardcore Trekkers at any one of the hundreds of Star Trek conventions staged each year.
It's great, I think, to have something in one's life that is something that you really spend a lot of time and energy doing, and it's, everybody has it. You know, marathon runners have it. They have to run. That's their religion. And for those who believe in organized religion, that's what they do a lot. They spend all their time in their life. So these fans spend a lot of their time focusing on this.
In addition to meeting their favorite Star Trek actors, conventions also give Trekkers a chance to catch up on the latest collectibles.
We do T-shirts and more of the souvenir novelty kind of items that the fans want to come to a convention and buy.
Berman's firm, Creation Entertainment, is responsible for more than 200 Star Trek products that are sold at the various conventions. Since 1971, Berman has been staging these gatherings, meeting fans from all over the world.
We're getting about 400,000 people a year, so it's quite a nice endeavor. All ages, all types, doctors, lawyers, school teachers, it runs the gamut, really does. It started as a hobby and grew into a business, and I can't think of a better way to earn a living.
Participating in a marketing campaign is a new experience for most of us. So is being the model for an action figure.
The actors love to say that they're not impressed by that, but the minute they get their own action figures, they take them into their trailers and they sit and they look at them and they explore them.
I suppose when I see a Neelix doll, I'll think about it. I don't know what I'll think, though. I'll have to wait to see what happens.
It would just be sort of a curiosity, sort of a thing. It's, oh, does it look like me? Oh, okay, like it does, and then that would be it.
I tell you, I have a daughter who's 4 and a half. I have 2 kids and a 9-month-old. But my daughter, since she started watching some of the shows, has become obsessed with Tuvok. Tuvok is the hottest character to 4-year-olds, so I would have to say Tuvok's going to be the big seller.
If you've got your eye on one of the action figures but can't make it to a convention, try calling 1-800-TREKKER. That's right. There's actually a phone service where you can buy anything from a holographic photo to a burner cover. While all this merchandising can be dizzying for an actor, the outstanding chemistry of the cast keeps us all focused.
These 9 actors have melded in a way that is something you would expect after 2-3 years. And they did it almost immediately.
I think the actors all like each other, and everyone has a nice sense of humor, which is unusual. Robert Beltran has a completely unexpected sense of humor if you've only seen his character.
This we carried, and the Voyager female crewmates really like cut that.
And John Phillips, Ethan John Phillips, we all call him John, is also extremely funny. He plays Neelix.
I did an audition. My mom knows one of the producers, and they just did it as a favor. They were like other qualified actors that were probably better for the part, but like I had contacts and stuff.
I don't mean to make it sound like only the men are funny. You know, it's just I only find men funny. It's just one of those things, you know. Find women cute and men funny. I mean, there's some funny women out there.
My relationship with these guys is sublime to a man. That's a very rare thing. You probably aren't going to hear that again for a long time, if you've ever heard it in an interviewing past. There's usually somebody who's a little rocky or a little shaky, the chemistry's off. This is not the case.
Still to come, we'll join Star Trek's first female captain for a tour of the bridge. But when we return, it's off to the transporter room with Garrett Wang, and we'll find out where Tim Russ gets those pointy ears. welcome back to E's one-hour journey inside Star Trek Voyager. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil. Perhaps the ultimate sign of a show's popularity is when words or phrases from the program become a part of our everyday language. Think about the influence of Star Trek. At one time or another, you've probably said space, the final frontier, or to boldly go where no one has gone before, or initiating evasive pattern Omega Mark. Okay, well, maybe not that last one, but there is one other classic Star Trek line that no one can resist, not even a Klingon.
Well, here we are. This is the transporter room. This is the transporter pad that we're on right now. And as you can see, we can beam in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A family of 6 can come in here. This was the original transporter ceiling used in Star Trek 1, the first film. They sort of revamped it for us, but I think that's a kind of neat piece of Trek history and trivia for everyone to know. Okay, why don't you come up here for a second and show you some stuff. Here we are. This is the console area where the transporter chief, whoever that may be at the time, resides. Stuff on the wall. Oh, this is kind of neat. This is one of the cooler effects, I guess, that's working. What it does is it just tells me in terms of whether or not the transport is going okay, kind of a thing. This is the sensor, touch sensor pad, which beams somebody in, beams somebody out. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. Why don't we just take a last shot of that? Look at that. Look at the yellow lighting right there and the blue. It's very color coordinated.
Someone's altered the security subroutines.
Why would anyone do that?
Never mind. Beam me down.
Are you crazy? Security will spot you before you even get there.
As Voyager continues the Star Trek tradition of exploring new frontiers, some members of the cast are confronted with a new challenge.
A pretty strong glue. Strong enough that if you don't get it off, it'll be on there for 2 weeks afterwards. So you can't pull these off that easy once they're on. They won't come off, at least not without a few layers of skin.
Well, I'm usually given 3 hours prior to set call for whatever is the first scene that I'm in. They create this. You know, I don't do this. They do this.
There's a lot of work that has to be done. I just go into my trailer and I fall asleep, and my makeup artist does the work. So I wake up and I look like this. It's kind of amazing. I don't really know it's there until we remove it, because basically my forehead and scalp go numb. And they do though. And it's not until it's removed that I can really feel the skin again. So it's not really a problem.
I really, really wish that I had prosthetics, because I prefer to wake up at 3 in the morning, because that's usually when I do my best concentration and so much more into the day when I can have no sleep.
I tell you, I feel fine about not missing it. You know, some of those guys, like Ethan Phillips, who plays Neelix, they're in for 3-4 hours before anybody else gets here.
I've arrived at the set at 3:30 in the morning to get the makeup on for 6:30 report to the set. So 3:30, and I live in, my home is in Santa Barbara, so I'm getting up at about 11 o'clock in the evening, shower, drive here. I have very long days.
I will make the exchange with Jared O'Tell.
Call time is a little later for Tim Russ, who plays Tuvok the Vulcan.
It's 6 o'clock this morning. Actually, earlier in the week it was more like 5. Always dark, usually in the winter. So, well, about 45 minutes to do all this. Mark Shostrom here is the artist at hand, and you know, you'll have to put like several colors together to make them look natural.
Part of Tim's makeup ritual involves attaching his Vulcan ears.
It's not a large appliance, but it takes time because you have to blend them to the ear so that they not only match the color of your skin, but they also will match the texture. When I first
started wearing them, I forgot they were on, so I got an itch. I go up there and fingers full of makeup and stuff.
Tim's ears are custom made.
They are made to order on molds of Tim's ears. And we have 4 molds, so we can run 4 pairs of ears a day.
We have another lab over on stage 10 that we've had since day 1 with Next Generation. And that's where all the foam work and the plaster work is done. It's the ultimate, it's the ideal that any makeup artist could ever do, because I have probably here poured more plaster. It's tons. We've literally made tons of molds. The latex we've gone through goes into the multi-50-gallon drums, the gallons and gallons, hundreds of gallons of latex.
You don't need latex for Tim's hair.
I just trim, you know, the edge here in front, certainly, so that it's, I take the temples out, the temples in here, that, so that there's a consistent, smooth hairline.
I've got to shave the tips of the eyebrows right here on the edges. It's a very neat trick to get these things on. It drives you crazy, man, if somebody else will put liner on the bottom of your eye. It's like sitting in a dentist chair. That's it, boys. That's the works. Transformation is complete. Sun isn't up yet, see? Live long and prosper. Always take your coffee with you.
Coming up later in our look inside Star Trek Voyager, you'll get a rare glimpse of us filming on a planet unlike any other. But when we return, Roxanne Biggs-Dawson will show you what all the well-dressed Voyagers wear in the 24th century. Welcome back. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil, and this is E's one-hour journey inside Star Trek Voyager. How would you like to try on one of these? A genuine Starfleet uniform. Doesn't look too uncomfortable, right? But take it from me, trying it on and spending 12 straight hours working in it are 2 entirely different experiences, as you'll see coming right up. But first, we have an appointment to keep in sickbay, and you don't want to keep Doc Zimmerman waiting.
The sick bay. These are the bio beds where my patients lay down and I treat them, and I push these buttons here. And this is my favorite. This is what we refer to as the clamshell bed. The patient lies down here. We cover them with this sort of lame blanket here. And a clamshell comes up over them and tells us, you know, whether or not they've had seafood for lunch, I guess. I don't know.
Sometimes they say laughter is the best medicine, but when you're ill on the Voyager, it's best to see the doc.
He's completely exhausted. Can some of this wait until he's had a chance to rest? Yes, I've learned quite a bit about medicine working on Star Trek. Unfortunately, it's not medicine that applies to the 20th century, so I can't really share. I could share it, but you people simply wouldn't understand it. This is a medical tricorder, and with the detachable scanning device, it will tell me absolutely anything I want to know about whatever tissue that I wave it over. I take them out with a thingy, and I place them here, and then this lights up, and then I kind of manipulate these thingies, and I draw some conclusion that you believe. This is something that we put on people's limbs to cure them in some way. Do you have any questions?
And action, please.
No, they never let me see him. They interrogated me for almost 2 days straight. They asked me a lot of questions about the Numeri.
Being a patient in sickbay is uncomfortable, to say the least, especially when you're injected with one of those big space needles. But not as uncomfortable as trying to get into our spacesuits.
Hi, I'm Roxanne. You may not recognize me. I play B'Elanna Torres on Voyager. We're about to go into wardrobe now for a fitting. I'll take you right in. This is where we get fit into all of our costumes. I'm going to get fit into another Starfleet uniform, which will be exactly like the one I wore in the last episode and the episode before and the episode before that, because I basically wear the same thing every time. So I'm going to go get changed right now, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Good morning, Roxanne. How are you today?
Hey, Bob. This is Bob Blackman, our costume designer. He's going to see if this actually fits. What do you think?
While Roxanne is being fitted, we asked the renowned Mr. Blackwell to illustrate his thoughts on Star Trek fashion with the help of a telestrator.
Well, here we have Star Trek 1966. The cigarette girl at the Copacabana. Isn't this a thrill? Look what they did. From a jewelry neckline to a mock turtle. I feel it's boring.
I don't find it boring at all. I actually find it interesting. And I think also for the actor, what happens is that there is enough anonymity with just a color bar at the top that draws focus to their face.
They've got her in the same outfit. I'm sorry. As captain, I would have demanded a better looking wardrobe.
Well, to each his own for fashion in space, but a comfortable fitting wardrobe is another story.
These stirrups, sometimes we will undo them to allow more flexibility in the leg.
Part of it is how to keep, I mean, the use of the stirrup, the elastic stirrup, is to keep a very clean, straight, vertical line to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not comfortable, and you sit with those things and there's tension all over your thigh because the pant can't go up.
But they look marvelous.
But they look fabulous.
To have a good butt to be on Star Trek, there's just no doubt about it, because the costumes are tight.
It is not the most comfortable for me, because I like to wear clothes that are very relaxed and very casual.
I've got a little pocket in my pants for my teeth, in between takes. Yeah, well, you know, I don't really have anything to carry around, except for the keys to my trailer.
Who got a pocket sewn in? I better be talking to my staff.
Pocket for what?
For like wedding rings or things that they want to keep talisman close to their heart?
Bob, I would like a little pocket sewn in on my uniform.
I don't know. I really haven't put much thought into that question. I just sort of say, okay, this is what I have to wear. And I really don't think about it too much.
All I have to do is get my forehead and my wig on. And
exactly. And no jewelry, and you're ready to go.
There we go. I'll
So
make
out
sure
you
to take
go.
the jewelry off.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
You look
Thank
great.
you so much, Bob.
Thank you very much. We're almost ready for our tour of the bridge with Captain Janeway, Kate Mulgrew. But when we return, it's off to shoot in another world where every second counts and nothing can go wrong.
Just when you think you're going to die of something.
Okay, reset, please, Catherine.
Welcome back to E's Look Inside Star Trek Voyager. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil. So far during this hour, we've focused on the interiors of our ship. But as you know, we don't spend all of our time on board. After all, there are alien planets to explore. But therein lies a unique challenge. Where on Earth can you find a place that can double for the planet Iconia or Erebus Prime, or in the case you're about to see, a planet so unexplored it hasn't even been named yet?
This is a planet that has some vegetation growing on it, and we're sent here to forage for some vegetation, you know, some food.
You expect us to eat that? That's the reason I brought you here, Commander. There's no better source of vitamins and minerals in this quadrant than in this ugly little root.
On Earth, we're at the Bronson Caves. It's nice to get away, and especially on a beautiful day like this.
You're looking at a rare occurrence for Voyager. We only shoot on location about half a dozen times a year.
One of the reasons for that is obvious. You go out into Los Angeles of 1995, and that's what it looks like. It's very hard to find places that look like alien worlds or the 24th century.
Aren't they gorgeous? Yeah. One bite'll kill you. Puff you up like a vacole fish. First, your windpipe starts to swell. And just when you think you're going to die of suffocate.
Okay, reset, please, Admiral.
Did you guys get the teeth popping out? Mm-hmm. Is that funny?
A little bit. I thought it was gum.
That happens a lot.
Does it really?
Well, it's happened about 5 times. It's kind of funny. It's my teeth, which is really sad. You know, I have a very bad dentist.
Humor helps the actors keep their cool on a day like today, when the LA sun heats up to 90 degrees.
Well, it's tougher for me because I've got a colostomy bag glued to my head. It's about 3 inches of rubber here. And so it cooks. And my head feels like a duck in a Chinese restaurant. It's simmering.
While Neelix simmers, his fellow Voyagers blow off a little steam.
It's so hot out here. Yeah. Very hot. Where's the water, Gary?
Oh, I'm sorry. Where's my water?
I am the water boy also. We don't know that. That was in my contract. I provide Robert Beltran with food and drink. Excuse me.
Thank you, Garrett.
You can leave.
The chemistry.
Speaking of chemistry, a few of the actors didn't really excel in the sciences before they worked on Voyager.
Well, I wasn't a science fiction fan.
I failed chemistry when I was in high school. So I have no right to be here.
All right, so he flunked chemistry. But as Voyager's resident chef, Neelix is an expert at finding nutritious delicacies. Even if it tastes so bad, Robert has to spit it out over and over and over again.
But 27 times. It's actually starting to taste good. Oh, that's ginger root. That's what it really is. In our story, it's Leola root.
What we've done is to disguise these and make these look a little bit unusual is we've simply acquired ginger root, applied some interesting paint colors, also injected a little bit ahead of another type of a plant, vegetation, to again make it look a little bit unusual, and we came up with a Leola root, something interesting and something rather tasty.
Meet prop master Alan Sims. When we're in need of foreign food, phasers, or assorted alien paraphernalia, he's the man to see.
I wanted to carry on with some description of props that we designed for Voyager. I have something interesting that I took a lot of pride in being able to establish a IV. We sort of coined these as the Sims beacon. We have a blood gas infuser. This is our Federation phaser, Starfleet phaser, which all of our away crew will always wear in a holster that attaches on the side of their belt. And along with this, more weaponry that we've come up with this season on Voyager is a Kazon rifle phaser.
Tim Russ is the champion phaser drawer right now. He's very quick, but he's practiced a lot longer.
Let's see, who is, Bobby's pretty quick. Robbie McNeil is pretty quick. The captain's not too slow. On occasion we get into it. I think it just depends on who's playing heads-up ball and who's not.
Along with a means of protection, we also require other devices like this tricorder.
Evidently from this you can figure out where you are anywhere in the universe, who you might come in contact with, what their material makeup is all about, their chemical makeup is. It's amazing.
I don't know if you've heard this, but I have actually broken more tricorders than anyone in the history of Star Trek. I have somehow dropped or completely destroyed, I think, three tricorders. Of course, in a Voyager episode, you're going to need aliens, too. And prop master Alan creates these as well.
Yes, well, this is one of our friends. We do have an episode where our away team lands on a planet. He's reading the Star Trek communicator right now. But this is an alien skeletal life form, and it's very rubbery, is what it is. It's a latex covering, and again, with a unique painting process, we even gave him quite an alien skull. As you can see, it's not quite how we know man to be.
As you can see, prop master Alan really loves his job.
I just enjoy demonstrating all of this.
Okay, I think we've kept you waiting long enough. When we return, our Voyager tour finishes up with a look at the centerpiece of any Star Trek vessel, the bridge, seen through the eyes of our captain, Kate Mulgrew. Welcome back. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil. I'm afraid we've reached the end of our journey inside Star Trek Voyager. So it's time to wrap up the tour of the ship. And, as is the custom in our little corner of the universe, we've saved the best for last, the bridge, and the only person truly qualified to give you a tour.
Hi, this is Kate Mulgrew, otherwise known as Captain Catherine Janeway, of the Federation Starship Voyager, and I'm going to give you a little tour of my bridge. These gentlemen behind the camera are strangers in a strange land, but this is becoming progressively more familiar to me, if not intimate indeed. Here we are at Control. This is where my pilot sits, Tom Paris. And he sits here day in and day out, and he just says, just tell me when. That's his line, just tell me when.
Captain, the photonic lattice has reappeared.
Scan it, all sensors.
I don't think anyone has trouble following her, you know, listening to her orders and following them. You know, she's very strong.
My first officer, Chakotay, who is the head of the Maquis, sits here. He often sits here like this. And I, ostensibly, sit in this chair. However, I so seldom sit, it's become a joke. I'm always here saying, if you want to screw around with me, you're in trouble. Somewhere along this journey, we'll find a way back. Garrett Wong plays Harry Kim. And he sits here and looks at us with his angelic face. We all sort of say, we're so in love with you. We can't see straight. Nobody cares what's happening to Voyager, because everybody's madly in love with you, Garrett Wong.
Here's a woman who has to carry the show. You know, she's a mother of 2 kids. And she can make it here every day. She can stand the hours. I can't.
Down we go. And usually we see B'Elanna here. And what I love about B'Elanna is she sort of plays her console like a piano. Nobody knows what's going on.
There's another distinctive feature on the bridge that hangs right behind Roxanne. It's a plaque that honors all the talented people behind the scenes who make Voyager a reality.
For I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see, saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be. I can't say it better than Lord Tennyson, can I?
But for how long do the members of Voyager plan to continue their wondrous journey?
I would love to be doing this for as long as people will allow me to.
It's been dictated in the premise of the first episode that it's going to take them 75 years to get back. So I don't think we'll be able to run any more than 75 seasons.
If things continue as they are, which I'm sure they're going to, it's only going to get better and better and better and better and better.
For as long as the helm will have me, sir. And I hope it's a good long time indeed. I have a long way to go before I will be satisfied, I'm sure, with the Janeway that I want to create. So, there's time aplenty for where I need to go. Good work, Doctor. And you get up, and you go over here, and maybe you've wrapped up your day on the bridge, and then everybody just sort of quietly and uniformly goes like this. And that's our day on the bridge. Full thrusters. Good red alert.
As for me, I don't plan on deserting the Voyager crew anytime soon either because, well, to be totally honest, my dad would kill me. He's a longtime Trekker. Thanks for watching Inside Star Trek Voyager. I'm Robert Duncan McNeil. Hope you enjoyed it, Dad. We'll film this one. Welcome back. And you know what I said.
Don't you dare go away, because we're about to serve you up a hot, delicious, tasty, steaming cup of talk soup weekend. Next.